66 million years ago, Earth was a paradise unlike anything we could possibly imagine today. Dinosaurs had ruled this magnificent planet for over 165 million years of dominance. They had survived ice ages, massive volcanic eruptions, and every single challenge that nature could throw at them. They dominated the land, the seas, and the skies of every continent across the entire globe. Nothing on Earth could challenge their supremacy. They seemed absolutely invincible, destined to rule forever. But something was coming from the depths of space, something utterly unstoppable and absolutely catastrophic. A massive rock 6 miles wide, traveling at an incomprehensible 45,000 miles per hour. On one seemingly ordinary morning, the age of dinosaurs would end in the most catastrophic event imaginable. This is the story of the worst day our planet has ever seen in its entire history. To understand what was lost forever, we must first see the world exactly as it was. The late Cretaceous was an era of incredible warmth, abundance, and biodiversity across the entire planet. Dinosaurs had evolved into thousands of specialized species over millions and millions of years of natural selection. Some were the largest creatures that had ever walked on land in Earth's entire history. The oceans teemed with marine reptiles as large as modern whales, dominating the seas with power. And the skies belonged to giants with wingspans wider than modern fighter jets, soaring above it all. Flowering plants had recently appeared, transforming the planet into a colorful garden of unprecedented beauty and diversity. Mammals existed, but only as small creatures hiding in the shadows, waiting for their moment to come. The dinosaurs seemed destined to rule this planet forever, unchallenged and supreme in every ecosystem on Earth. But on this particular night, everything was about to change in the most unimaginable way possible. The morning of the extinction began like any other morning for the creatures living across the planet. Dinosaurs woke, hunted, and lived their lives, completely unaware of the catastrophe approaching from above them. Above them, death approached at an almost incomprehensible speed of 20 kilometers every single second. At 10 o'clock in the morning, the massive asteroid struck Earth's atmosphere with devastating force. For one brief moment, creatures across the Americas saw what appeared to be a second sun. Then it struck. The Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico became ground zero for the end of the world. The impact released the energy of 10 billion atomic bombs detonating simultaneously in one terrible instant. Everything within 1,000 miles vaporized instantly in the unimaginable heat of millions of degrees of plasma. The asteroid punched through Earth's crust like a bullet through paper, penetrating miles into the planet's interior. A supersonic shockwave flattened everything for thousands of miles around, obliterating entire ecosystems in seconds of destruction. An earthquake more powerful than any in recorded history shook the entire planet from pole to pole. Megatsunamis 300 feet high radiated across the oceans, traveling at hundreds of miles per hour outward. Coastal habitats were obliterated in minutes, swept completely clean by the massive waves of unimaginable power. Billions of tons of molten rock were thrown into space, escaping Earth's gravity in an apocalyptic fountain. Within minutes, it began to fall back as a global meteor storm, raining death across the world. The sky rained fire across every continent on Earth, igniting everything flammable in a planetary inferno. Forests on every continent burst into flames simultaneously, creating firestorms that could be seen from space. Dinosaurs ran in terror, but there was nowhere safe to run, no refuge from the catastrophe. The age of dinosaurs was ending in fire and darkness, and nothing could stop what had begun. Smoke and ash rose 20 miles into the atmosphere, blocking out the sun across the planet. Within days, a dark cloud encircled the entire planet, plunging Earth into a darkness like night. The sun became a dim orange disk in a black sky, barely visible through the choking clouds. Without sunlight, plants began to die within weeks, unable to photosynthesize in the terrible darkness below. Herbivores starved as their food sources disappeared, dying by the millions across every continent on the planet. Carnivores survived briefly by scavenging the dead, but soon they too began to starve in darkness. Global temperatures plunged by 20 degrees or more, turning the warm planet into a frozen wasteland overnight. Snow fell in places that had been tropical paradises just weeks before, covering palm trees with ice. Acid rain poisoned the water and burned what little vegetation remained, struggling to survive in the darkness. The oceans turned toxic, killing 3/4 of all marine life in a mass die-off of scale. The great marine reptiles died in their poisoned seas, unable to find food in the toxic waters. Flying reptiles fell from the darkened skies, unable to hunt or navigate without the sun to guide. Even the mighty Tyrannosaurus could not escape the darkness, dying alongside the smallest of their dinosaur cousins. Millions of years of evolution ended in just months of darkness, erasing an entire world from existence. For nearly 2 years, Earth remained in darkness, shrouded in clouds of ash that blocked the sun. 75% of all species on Earth went extinct in the worst mass extinction in history. Only the smallest dinosaurs had any chance of survival, those that could hide underground and eat anything. Finally, after 2 long years, the sun began to break through the clouds at last. The first plants began to sprout from the ash, tiny green shoots emerging from the wasteland. Mammals emerged from their hiding places into a transformed world, finding a planet empty of dinosaurs. The creatures that had hidden in fear now inherited the planet, ready to take their turn. Without dinosaurs to compete with, mammals rapidly diversified, evolving into thousands of new forms and species. Among them were our own distant ancestors, tiny shrew-like creatures that would one day become us. That asteroid made room for humanity to evolve, clearing the way for our existence on Earth. One world ended so another could begin, and everything we know today came from that tragedy. The impact site still exists today in Mexico, a massive crater buried beneath jungle and sediments. Scientists discovered a layer of rare elements marking the exact moment of impact, found worldwide in rocks. This thin layer of space rock can be found on every continent, proof of the catastrophe. But dinosaurs did not go completely extinct, contrary to what most people believe about this extinction event. Birds are living dinosaurs, the last survivors of that terrible day, descended from small feathered theropods. 10,000 species of birds remind us of what once was, flying overhead as echoes of the past. Their bones tell a story that still captivates us today, revealing secrets of the ancient world's glory. If the asteroid had hit at a different angle, dinosaurs might still rule Earth to this day. Mammals might never have had their chance to evolve and dominate, and humans would never have existed. Earth has been struck many times throughout its history, and it will be struck again someday. Today we scan the skies, watching for the next potential impact, hoping to avoid the dinosaurs' fate. Thousands of asteroids pass near Earth every year, and we've had close calls in our lifetimes. Dinosaurs ruled for 165 million years, an almost incomprehensible span of time for species. We have existed for barely a moment in comparison, just a few 100,000 years on Earth. Yet we now face catastrophes of our own making, threats that come not from space but ourselves. The survivors of the extinction were small, adaptable, and lucky, but most importantly, they could hide safely. Life on Earth has proven remarkably resilient, bouncing back from every catastrophe thrown at it throughout history. After every mass extinction, life has always returned, always found a way to survive and flourish again. Our world today is more beautiful than ever, filled with millions of species in every ecosystem imaginable. But Earth's story is one of constant change, and change can come suddenly when we least expect. 66 million years ago, that change came from the sky, arriving without warning on an ordinary morning. In one terrible moment, an era ended, and an entire world that had existed for millions vanished. But from that ending came new beginnings, new forms of life, and eventually us standing here today. We exist because of a cosmic accident, a rock from space that happened to strike at that moment. The dinosaurs story reminds us how precious and fragile life truly is, and how quickly it changes.